Today we're going to talk about the most expensive mistake that couples make online and how to circumvent it. Hi friends, I'm Joshua Gabrielson, a professional filmmaker here in Virginia. Today I want to talk to you about the most expensive mistake that couples make when they're looking for vendors online, and this is it. I see this mistake so many times, day in and day out, on places like Facebook and Twitter. And maybe they're looking for somebody like me, maybe they're looking for a venue, a cake baker, it doesn't matter. It is using generic terms, especially the words affordable and reasonable. I run into so many couples all the time that say, hey, I'm looking for an affordable venue, I'm looking for an affordable photographer, I'm looking for somebody that's reasonable, give me some leads, give me some information. And the problem with that is that you get the gamut of everybody that's in that part of the industry. So for example, if you're looking for a venue, you're going to get venues that are $500, you're going to get venues that are $5,000, you're going to get venues that are $20,000. And that's a problem. And the problem boils down to the right communication. Couples are not relaying that information correctly when they're on social media. And so I highly suggest that you use this instead. I'm in search of a wedding photographer for my wedding on November 23rd, 2023 in the Washington, D.C. area. My budget is $4,000 to $4,500, and I'm looking for somebody with a natural type, style. So the more specific that you are, the more narrow you're going to create that funnel. But here's the problem. A lot of people don't give ranges, they give specific amounts. My budget is $3,200. Well, I don't recommend doing that, and this is why. What you want to do is you want to create a funnel to narrow down the budget and to narrow down those vendors that meet that budget. So if you can take your range, say it's $3,000 for a vendor, you go 10% less and you go 10% more, and that creates your range. So your range might be $2,700 to $3,300 in this particular example. But my point is that having ranges allows for a little bit of wiggle room for those vendors that might meet that criteria, but not exactly. The benefit for you is that you have a little bit better pool to choose from when you're narrowing down the right vendor for you, and you might even get a little bit less cost from that vendor too, saying, well, you're looking for $2,700 to $3,300. Well, I'm on the $2,700 range, and that person might do as good of a job, if not better, than the person that's $3,300. The other reason that I recommend that you be specific is that you're going to weed out those amateurs versus professionals very quickly. If you're very generic, you're going to get everything under the sun. It's like going into a supermarket and saying, I want food. Okay, well, that's what they do. They sell food. And that's the same way in the wedding business too. Somebody says, hey, I want a photographer. Well, they get 500 posts of people offering their services saying, I do this, I do that, I do this. And very few of them even put the ranges in there. So I highly recommend that you be very specific in your post. Try to make a funnel so you can kind of narrow it down to those 4 or 5 people that really meet the criteria for your budget and the style, and then you can go from there. I remember I was on Facebook about a year ago, and somebody was asking for a wedding cake, specifically one that was in the shape of a peacock, because they had seen a magazine or a picture or something, and they said, man, that looks really great. I really want a peacock cake for my wedding. So they went online and they said very generically, I'm looking for a peacock cake for my wedding. I'm looking for somebody that's affordable, and my area is X. Well, they got everything under the sun, and they were simply looking for the cheapest price. Well, $300 later, they got what they paid for, and it looked horrible. So much so that she actually took a picture of it and complained about it. The problem was she only paid $300 for this cake that probably was done in New York or some high-end shop that cost $4,000 or $5,000. And there you have it. That's the number one mistake that couples make when they're trying to look for vendors online and they don't have any idea what they're doing. Be specific in the queries that you make, and you'll get the best results for finding those wedding vendors that meet your needs. Thank you so much for stopping by. Please make sure that you hit subscribe on my YouTube channel. I'm doing these videos every week and I'm trying to help get some education out to couples just like you. And if you have any questions or comments, leave them in the field below and I'll be more than happy to connect with you and help answer any kind of wedding related questions that I can do for you. Until then, happy wedding planning.